guys, it's Kai. From flying without a propeller to seeing through walls, here are 10 genius inventions proving you're living in the future. Number 10. See through walls via Wi-Fi. The principle of operation is quite simple and similar to the one of radar. The Wi-Fi device is a reference point that sends radio signals through a barrier and receives its reflection when it bounces off an object on the other side. Wi-Fi devices use inexpensive wireless technology, opening the potential for widely used items such as smartphones to be used for search and rescue purposes. It could be utilized for finding people trapped in collapsed buildings after disasters. They could also greatly increase safety for military troops during an operation. This technology has the additional potential to be used in medicine by detecting abnormalities in the human body, such as that of breast cancer. Thanks to this technology, an everyday item like a smartphone can be converted into a tracker for humans that are on the other side of a solid obstacle, due to the possibility of detecting distortions in Wi-Fi signals that are caused by even the slightest movement. Number 9. Shoes that generate electric current. James Wimshurst was a 19th century engineer and inventor who created a high-voltage generating machine. The machine, which now bears his name, consists of 2 counter-rotating discs equipped with metal patches. The mechanism that charges the spheres is the electrical induction that amplifies every little charge in the metal patches. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, physicists and engineers used Wimshurst machines and similar devices to deliver X-ray machines and even particle accelerators. But these machines are rare these days, and they are used only in science museums and classrooms to demonstrate the principles of electrostatics. This can change today, thanks to the work of the scientists at the University of California, Santa Barbara, who reinvented the Wimshurst machine for the 21st century. These people have created a microfluidic version that collects energy from the environment and converts it into usable energy. In the new device, drops of mercury pass through a channel carved into a sheet of PDMS plastic. The channel transports the mercury droplets as done by the rotating discs in the conventional Wimshurst machine. After downsizing of the concept, it was able to fit in the sole of a shoe. Each step in the shoes that have the system installed squeezes streams of mercury back and forth through a device embedded in the heel and generates an electrical current, perhaps enough to power a small communication device. Of course, there are challenges ahead. An important issue is the durability of such a device, given the tapping that shoes go through in their useful life. But this is a development issue that science can work out. It may not be long before the best way to recharge your phone is to put some shoes on and go running. Wimshurst would be surprised. If you didn't have a charger and going for a run could charge your phone, would you do it? Let me know in the comments below. Number 8. Flight with no moving parts. This kind of flight came to be thanks to something that is known by the name electroaerodynamic propulsion. The reasoning behind it had its foundation laid back in the early 60s. The concept of moving in the air in such a way is totally different and hard to wrap your head around in comparison to traditional propeller methods. This idea takes advantage of an event known as ionic wind. For this propulsion system to work, a great deal of electricity with extremely high voltage of around 40,000 volts is required. The propeller produces ions between 2 electrodes. Thanks to the generation of the electric field in between them, ions are forcefully thrown from the smaller towards the larger electrode. The ions in question then impact the molecules of the air while in travel, subsequently forming the so-called ionic wind that propels the aircraft forward. Due to the fact that the ions do all the work, this eliminates the need for moving parts. Instead of a single or several props, this plane uses electroaerodynamic propulsion. And now for number 7. But first, if you're new, welcome. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss out on more videos like these. Number 7. Synapses made in a lab. Researchers in the emerging field of neuromorphic computing have tried to design computer chips that work like the human brain. Instead of computing on the basis of binary on and off signaling as digital chips do today, the elements of the brain of the chip would work in a similar way, exchanging a gradient of signals or weights similar to neurons that are activated in different ways depending on the type of amount of ions that pass through the synapse. This invention sounds amazing. I would totally put a chip in my brain. Kinda reminds me of Limitless. In this way, small neuromorphic chips can, like the brain, effectively process the millions of parallel computational streams that are currently only possible with large supercomputer banks. A significant interruption to the path to such portable artificial intelligence is the neural synapse, which was especially difficult to reproduce in hardware. MIT engineers have designed an artificial synapse to accurately control the current flowing through it, similar to the way ions flow between neurons. An electronic synapse that is triggered millions of times faster than those in your brain can be used to build artificial neural networks. Number 6, brain-to-brain communication. Using someone's brain to directly share thoughts is no longer just for a certain Star Trek character. An international team of researchers was able to copy and recreate the so-called Vulcan mind meld by creating a device that allows two people to share information through thinking. This is so crazy. Researchers have tested technology separating consumers over 8,000 kilometers, or 5,000 miles, with one in France and the other in India. The team that built a brain-to-brain communication device in 2015 has now expanded it to 3 people, paving the way for larger groups to transmit thoughts directly to one another. Imagine the benefits that this kind of technology has. You will no longer have to explain your point of view to other people. You simply have to let them inside your mind by sending your thoughts so that they can see exactly what you think. Let's just hope that science will incorporate some kind of limit to what will be visible to others based on what we're willing to share, information-wise. No one would want their secrets to become public knowledge, right? Number 5, medicine that stops aging. After a clinical testing of drugs bearing the name of mTOR inhibitors was found that they enhance the immune system of the elderly, which potentially extends their lifespan. Another trial in progress is testing senolytics, drugs that eliminate the sunset cells that aging bodies break down. Aging can be regulated by a discrete set of intercellular proteins that include the mechanical target of rapamycin kinase, or mTOR. mTOR operates within 2 multi-protein complexes called TORC-C1 and TORC-C2. Inhibition of TORC-C1 prolongs the lifespan of all species studied so far and improves many pathologies associated with aging, including reduced immune function. Studies have now shown that treatment with low-dose TORC-C1 inhibitors in the elderly reduces the incidence of all infections, improves influenza vaccine responses, and increases antiviral immunity. Therefore, targeting the TORC-C1 pathway, which regulates aging, can have clinical benefits for the elderly, including improving immune function and reducing the rate of infection. Can I get some of that? Number 4, pills that can be programmed. A new type of DNA circuitry can decode the complex chemical impulses that cells use to indicate that they are damaged or attacked. Incorporating it into pills will amazingly allow them to release their pharmaceutical payloads when they find the right signal, allowing them to attack infections on demand. Not only could this lead to incredible medical procedures, it could also create visions of a future where small computers reside alongside the natural cells and microflora in the human body, a development that may question what exactly it means to be human. Number 3, quantum communication. Quantum cryptography enables communication that is guaranteed to be secure, thanks to the laws of physics. And it's becoming more and more important. Physicists have long known that quantum computers can break almost any other type of cryptography. As these devices are increasingly capable, writing is on the wall for conventional encryption. Therefore, trading companies, governments, and the military are looking forward to developing practical systems that can be put into good use. Unbreakable quantum cryptography is used to encrypt a video conference between China and Austria. This is one of the ways that China is leading the global race to develop quantum communication techniques. Number 2, phones that shoot 1 million frames per second. Harvard researchers have found a way to retrieve exhibit in most phone cameras and trick them into capturing images as fast as 1 million frames per second. The iPhone X has a shutter speed of approximately 10,000 seconds, which suddenly seems kind of slow. The team calls it the virtual frame technique, and they say the improved frequency of the virtual frame does not require any change in the camera performance, according to MIT Technology Review. This ingenious way to process data from your phone's camera extracts multiple frames from a single exposure and increases the effective frame rate to around 1 MHz. Currently, it's only for monochrome videos, but it is something. Number 1, edible electronics. Ingestible electronic devices have great potential for medical treatment and point-of-care test people. They could perform diagnostics and monitor drug release and transmit data to healthcare professionals. Similar technology can be used in the food industry, in particular for food tracking and monitoring as it moves along the supply chain. Edible electronics is not a new idea, but being able to utilize it in a way like this is. The problem in the past was that the electronics in question were really huge. It was nearly impossible to swallow them without choking to death. The brilliance in the new idea is the possibility for the devices to be converted into an image that has the possibility to be transformed into normal food. Long and behold, the edible electronics. There are many interesting uses for edible electronics. Observing the digestive tract is a benefit they are considering. They also think that it could be used to produce a monitor during its lifetime. There are many options. Disposable electronic circuits printed on soluble transfer paper, the same method of transfer for temporary tattoos, can one day be added to food or medicine to monitor their health effects. Thanks for watching. Which parts of life do you think will be revolutionized by these inventions? Does the concept of getting closer to the mixing of man and machine scare you? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and I'll see you next time. Bye.